Did you push the button?
Man, it's
It's
like,
now.
here,
It's
here's the
now.
deal, Stu. I feel like, and I say this because I love you and you're my brother. Like, I feel like you're getting dumber.
What?
And I'm not, and I mean that as like a compliment, right? Like, I feel like things are getting harder for you, like record buttons and counting to three and these things that people take for granted. I don't, because you're my business partner. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm. Thanks,
But I
man.
mean that in like
Way
a
to
good
way
way.
to lift me up. Way to lift me up.
I'm encouraging you, man. Like,
Thanks.
you
You
make
know,
other people feel really good about themselves when they're around you.
you know how I was feeling really good about myself, like right before this call.
Uh,
I was playing like Nerf ball wars with my son, and I was pegging him, like throwing like Nerf balls at him, like really, really
Awesome.
hard. And I felt,
Standing over him and flexing like, I
yeah,
got
my
you.
3-year-old, I felt really good about myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Adam, you're telling us a story of dominance. What was going on?
Yeah, I was, deep in the books, prepping for this podcast, wanted to have everything in order, and I heard somebody say, "Hey, we're playing a game of Uno," and I couldn't help myself. Went in there, had a great set of cards, dominated in the least amount of rounds possible. Great
Yeah.
strategy. My 3-year-old, she was on my team. My 8-year-old, he went down quick. My wife, obviously, that's an easy win. It was fantastic.
Were you talking trash?
That's awesome.
I actually wasn't talking trash. I was trying to be semi-encouraging. We did do some aggressive high fives at the end, though.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
Nice.
good. That's good.
Nice.
I always tell people, like, because they think that letting your kids win is builds them up, and I'm a huge proponent that, like, life doesn't let us win. So, like, I'm always like, if I'm dominating, which doesn't always happen, but if I am, I'm like, guys, I'm life in this situation, and I'm beating you down, and, like, you should just get used to it, because life is going to beat you down. And so it's a very good parable, comparison, analogy for life. And so I like to dominate my kids, and I like to make them cry. And Dad of the Year. I have a mug
Yeah.
that says it.
Similar.
All right,
Yeah, go ahead.
let me flip it. Let me ask one question here.
Okay.
Okay, your kids are going to play some type of team sports, I imagine. Your kid comes home from a season, they get a trophy for participating. Where are we at on this?
Despise
It's funny, and it's a serious question. I'm very intentional with talking to my kids about what they, have they earned it, and really encouraging a lot, like in mindset, the growth versus fixed, and using words that try to highlight their effort and what they put into it. And so I'm not a huge, like, I point out when like, if my kid's playing soccer, I highlight to her they lost and what they could have done better. And she's very competitive, so she gets up. But my son, dude, the sports that he's playing, there's no, like, he does brutal sports. He does wrestling and, like, jujitsu. So, dude, there's no, like, if you get choked out, like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna, like,
You don't
feel
get a trophy
good.
for that.
You're not like, oh yeah, I got choked out. Yeah, give me, no, dude. And wrestling is obvious, right? The ref comes, they grab both boys' hands, they raise one of them, and they don't the other, and in that moment that you lost. So I really appreciate that. And then you just build them
That's
up.
No, that's great. Like, sport choice is great. I think I have 3 rules for my son. Rule number 1 is 100% effort all the time. I'm not really concerned about your performance, but I'm concerned about your effort. Rule number 2 is listen to your coach. And rule number 3 is be a good teammate. That's
I
the
love
only
that.
3 things that I'm coaching him on when he's out there.
What sports
great.
is your boy in?
So we've kind of taken so he's 8 years old, and we've played most of the sports. So I don't want him to niche down. I just want him to see what kind of gains traction with them.
Yeah.
Basketball, soccer. He just got done with baseball season. I'm interested in getting him in jiu-jitsu once we move and we're in civilization. Right now, I'm not. So
Nice, man.
Yeah, no, I love those rules, man. That's I think someone should take notes for those, and I think that's great, in business as well, right? I mean, if you're focused on those 3 things, then what a great partner you're going to be. I'll be honest with you. This week's been just in general from a Navy perspective, and just, it's been a long, hard week. And, but I'll tell you, I'm encouraged. I'm continuously encouraged by the future prospects that, of Stu and I, obviously with my family, and we're transitioning out of the Navy, but I made a great choice in a business partner. And so that always, because of those really, strong foundational beliefs and the things that we agree on, that really drives the potential for the future. And I'm excited about that. So, but as an intro, I've been excited all week about Adam Whitney, because I will tell you, I'm a huge fan, and we kind of have seen, this growth, and just not even a growth, but like a shift, and getting to know you through all these accomplishments that you've had over the last couple of years has been absolutely incredible. Just the things that you're going to be doing here in the future. I'm just so pumped, dude. Like I'm extremely excited about this interview, and we'll harken back to this, and 10 years down the road, and be like, man, we were one of the first to have Adam Whitney on our show,
Well,
Mr. Adam Whitney.
I think he was on like a Bigger Pockets podcast.
He was.
And
look, man, lock it up, dude. You don't have to like.
We were just waiting for that to come out, because we're kind of a bigger deal than Bigger Pockets. We were letting all those other podcasts go first.
Yeah, I feel like I applied to your podcast. It must have been a couple of years ago, and I kept getting denied. It was weird.
Yeah, right.
we were just waiting. We were just waiting for your time to shine, man. We were waiting for this big announcement to make. So, because we knew it was coming.
One of many. No, yeah. Super excited to have you on, Adam. And Stu, one thing before we continue, we kind of addressed it. Can you fix your camera for us? I think there's some filters that are being applied.
Is it better now? Is it?
No, way worse. Way worse. Go. If you could just like kind of go off the camera.
Oh, like this?
Perfect, dude. Beautiful. Yep. Let's do the interview. We're ready.
Hey, this is Filling the Storehouse podcast, and we have our good friend Adam Whitney on tonight. That was probably the longest intro ever. But Adam, that's a good-looking hat you have on, my friend. It's great to see you. What's going on?
Gotta represent. So happy to be here with guys like you, and I'm just grateful, and I appreciate you guys.
Thanks, man. Well,
hey, we also want to highlight you have a Storehouse shirt on, and it makes your arms bigger. Like it actually, when you flexed earlier, your arms, I think, are.
Dang, dude.
Wow. Guys got the extra. You guys clearly got the extra small sleeves, so I appreciate that.
There you go.
We ordered a schmedium for you.
Schmedium.
Yeah. Adam, man, for our audience, tell us about who Adam Whitney is. Start from the very beginning.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a father and a husband to my family. I'm an active duty Marine, and I love real estate. And that kind of started for me a long time ago as a enlisted Marine in 2007. I was up for reenlistment, which means, do I want to stay in or do I want to get out? And I was looking at different things I could do. And one of them was real estate. I went and took a real estate course, and I was just infatuated with it. And I moved across the country from California to Virginia, coast to coast. And I listened to a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I'll be honest, it didn't sink in right then and there. I didn't go take action in 2007 and capitalize on, the great housing market crash or anything. But it had always been in the back of my mind. But I was really focused on primarily being the best Marine I could be from a work perspective. And I was having a lot of success there. So I didn't really want to split my time with my family and my work to kind of venture off. And really, I didn't have the mindset for it. I wasn't ready. So that's really where it started. And I'd say it started to really gain traction. And I started taking action really around 2017, if you guys want to talk about that.
Yeah, sure, man.
For sure.
What happened?
Oh, yeah. So in 2017, I got selected to go to a school, in the military, went to this school. It was like the first time as an officer I had kind of only to focus on myself and my own education. And I couldn't get educated enough. So I started looking at real estate, and I was like, okay, finally we're moving. Let's buy a house, and then we'll just rent it out and it'll make us money. It'll be great. And I didn't really understand how to analyze a property or analyze a rental property, look at all the expenses and look at pure cash flow and things like that. So, but I bought a house nonetheless, in Virginia, $325,000. And, fortunately it's appreciated to about 450,000, been about break even for cash flow, but it was a great experience, like just the home buying process. And then renting it out since I've left, and I'm actually going to go move back into it in a month.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So it worked out really nicely. So then if you fast forward to 2018, I realized how easy that was. And I just started consuming all the information I could. 2018, I probably read 100 books and literally listened to every podcast out there. Like no kidding. Awesome. I've listened from Bigger Pockets episode 1 to current and everything, every other good podcast out there, like Phil in the Storehouse. Right. And then the best, and then, the best one ever. And then I started meeting people and networking. I met Stu and Dave, you guys, and Dave Perret over From Military to Millionaire. Shout out Dave Perret. I'm gonna need a kickback for that.
He's probably gonna charge us, dude. He's probably gonna charge us for using his name.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's too big time, trademarked. And I just got around people whose mindsets were like, just win. Let's just win. Let's all win together. Let's have an abundant mindset. Let's be good people. And I mean, that just changed my life really. And getting in the War Room mastermind group that we put on with Dave Perret and you, Stu and Dave, and just seeing so many people doing it. And I thought, why not me? I can do that. Like, I'm not that smart and I don't have a lot of skills, but I can work really hard. And that kind of led me down to buying a couple properties from turnkey properties in Milwaukee, which are like, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. And I know I'm on your podcast, but I will just tell your listeners, like, those properties are cash cows, legitimately bringing me in a couple grand a month almost. And
that's awesome.
They're truly cash cows. And like, then I proved it, like, oh my goodness, this real estate thing really works. And I looked at apartment syndications, and then I got into a mobile home syndication, and like all this is just compounding. And meanwhile, I'm learning and I'm trying to figure out, like, I think many investors, like, what really excites me, because there are so many niches in real estate. You can do multifamily syndication. You can do passive lending. You can do single family. You can do flips. You can do I mean, there's just so much stuff. Like, for us who have these entrepreneur minds, we're like, oh, I want to do a little bit of that. I want to try this. I want to try that. And I had a conversation actually with you, Dave, and we were talking about that earlier. And you just talked about how excited you were with like the speed of the deal in your guys' model. And I thought, man, that's what excites me. I want a team of people, and I want speed of deal, and I just want to help people wherever I can help people. And I looked at the flipping and wholesaling model, and I said, I want to build a team around that model. And I joined another group called Seven Figure Flipping that Bill Allen puts on, another Navy guy. And it basically gave me the whole framework I needed, and I literally just executed day one. I joined it in October. I was marketing by November. I failed in quarter 4. I completely failed in my marketing, had to reset, reanalyze, started executing turn of the year. And, about 6 to 8 weeks, I started gaining traction. I started closing deals. I started moving deals, and it was insane. And I loved it. And by that time, I had stood up my own company, Will to Win Investments at the time. And I'd brought on some virtual assistants to help me out. And I'd also brought on stateside 1099 help. So I was starting to build a team, which I'm really passionate about, helping other people grow, building something together. And, that almost takes us up to about the recent time.
Man, there's so much there, dude. That like just listening to you, I get fired up because I want to highlight a couple points that you kind of brushed over. So, one, you were doing all of this because you're still currently active duty, correct?
That's right.
Right. So you started doing all this as a side gig, and we'll talk about what this is transitioning into, but you talked about not having skills and being smart and all that kind of stuff. And I'll say that it requires a great amount of skill and tenacity to do what you were doing. You failed and you recalibrated. A lot of people fail and they stop. You recalibrated and then you found success. Dude, I'm telling you, man, there's so much there that we can get into, but I just wanted to highlight a couple of those points for the audience that, and you can do these things. It's all about action, right? And we know, like, the idea of going to a duty station, buying a house, and renting out, and kind of expecting that model to be like the ideal cash flow model isn't really it. But I will tell you, you took action and you did a deal, and you don't know what's going to necessarily come of that. You take action, you've gained, you learned something, and you're already past the paralysis phase. And then that house could turn out to be like, actually, it's funny because we're moving back into our forever home. Well, our forever home is a home we bought at a duty station, and we're moving back into that in Colorado. And Colorado market's obviously been doing amazing, but it changes your mindset. And if you could just touch on that a little bit, just the fact that you're doing all this while you're active duty, you can still focus on being a good Marine, but you're making a plan. And what did that do to your identity as well? The shift from hardcore Marine. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a couple things with that I think maybe I should touch on. Mindset, right? Mindset's kind of derived from the values you have. And I didn't have values growing up. I'll be honest. I was raised in Southeast Michigan, kind of Detroit area. Both of my parents are passed away. My mom passed when she was 40. And that's not woe is me. Those are just the circumstances you have, right? So those things kind of made me, some scar tissue. They make you resilient, right? They make you who you are. But the one thing I didn't get growing up was values. Coming into the service, you kind of get given values, right? There's just like a way you do business. And that I needed that. I needed that a lot. And that kind of changed my life. And then the other part of that is like, once you get that and you've never had it and you've been scrapping for everything, you realize like, wow, this can be very powerful. Like I can do a lot of things. And the thing about mindset is we kind of hear all these taglines and see all this stuff, but your mindset evolves. Your mindset evolves with the people you surround yourself with your relationships, your quality of relationships, your relationships with God. And these are all things that significantly grew for me. Like my relationships with the people I've surrounded myself with from real estate perspective grew. My relationship with God has grown significantly over the last 2 years, something I had neglected for a long time. And then because I was in the service, obviously, like I just want to win. I want to win. And there are things that I don't think about at the cost of winning, which is like, how much time does it take? I don't care. How much work is it going to be? I don't care. Like, we're just going to win. That's the way it's going to be. And we're not going to win. We're going to win and we're going to bring people with us. Right. Because that's just what you do, man. And that's been my mindset throughout. And, that's what I'm trying to execute and live on a daily basis.
Yeah, I love that. So speaking of values, I actually was kind of thinking about some, what we were going to talk about tonight. And I just finished the book Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, which is an awesome book. And there's a chapter called The Canvas Strategy. You read the book, right, Adam? Yeah,
a couple of years ago when it came out.
So there's a chapter called the Canvas Strategy, and I actually highlighted it, and Adam Whitney came to mind when I read this little section, and this is kind of speaking to your values of what you're talking about. And I'm just going to read it because I can't paraphrase it better than just what it says. And then, I want to hit on it. So the Canvas strategy is, there's an old saying, say little and do much. And what we really ought to do is to update and apply a version of that to our early approach. Be lesser and do more. Imagine if every person you met, you thought of some way to help them, something you could do for them, and you looked at it in a way that entirely benefited them and not you. The cumulative effect this would have over time would be profound. You'd learn a great deal by solving diverse problems. You'd develop a reputation for being indispensable. You'd have countless new relationships, and you'd have an enormous bank of favors to call upon down the road. That's what the Canvas strategy is, helping yourself by helping others. And I immediately thought of you, Adam, when I read that, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're helping yourself by helping others first. I saw it from day one when you joined the mastermind group, the War Room Mastermind group, and you are the person in that group that like is always reaching down and offering to help. You're always the person that's giving your thoughts and advice and saying, hey, let's get on a phone call. Hey, let's touch base. You're always that person that's like doing favors for other people without any benefit to yourself. And I think it's amazing, man. And I truly think that it's one of the reasons why you have grown so much and you've been so successful so far, is just your way of just always wanting to give. And the more you give, the more you will receive. And that's biblical. And I just think it's powerful, man. And so there's not really a question there or anything. I think it's just a statement of just what an awesome dude you are. So, I applaud you.
I think, no, I appreciate that, Stu. I think here's the thing about giving, that you do get something from giving. It feels good. And I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it makes me feel good to help other people. I know the help that I've gotten from guys like you two and many, many others throughout my life who've, you do the work and people will reach down and help pull you up. And, today I had a call with a War Room guy, and we kind of masterminded on some problems he had. Today I talked to an agent who's a boots on the ground, and she's a critical component to one market I have. And she asked me if I'd talk to her husband because she wants to do investing in my market. And I said, yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll tell him exactly how to do it. Honestly, I don't feel threatened by that. And it's not because they can't do it. In fact, they could probably do it better than me, but I feel good. I feel good about helping them. So I do get something out of giving, and it does make me feel good. And I feel like it's the right thing to do. So that's kind of where I stand on that. I think you reach down. I think you make time for other people. And if you want to pretend like people didn't make time and pull you up, I think that's just a fallacy, man. That's just not true.
Yeah, there's such a beautiful point there. And I think one thing that really resonates with Stu and I, and we really, we try to be very intentional, even to the point that we say it, or at least I say it in my interactions with people is, hey, we're agenda free, right? Like when I'm getting on a call to talk to you, and maybe there's going to be an investment opportunity that arises from it. Maybe I'm investing in you, you're investing in me, who knows, but the truly going into that conversation and being like, man, I just want to know who you are. I want to ask you some questions. I want to encourage you, and then we'll see where it goes and see what comes from it. Because a couple of things can happen. Like if I have no agenda, I'm also very open to being aware of if you're the type of person I want to do business with or not. If I'm the type of person you want to do business with or not, I'm aware of that because I'm not looking to get anything from you. And I think that you're the epitome of that, right? And it's awesome to go into to have conversations with people like that is so refreshing because you could tell from the get, okay, this guy just wants to like whatever, have some ideas. I'll just give them ideas and we'll go from there. Or, hey, this guy or gal really wants to create a relationship. And that's where the real, fabric, that's where real business can get done. That's what makes it fun. Right. I mean, that's the joy of that. And so like, I don't know what deals we're going to be doing in the future, but I know that we're going to be doing deals in the future because I just want to be around you. Right. I just want to hang out with you. And I think if people are intentional about that, they'll be shocked at what comes from it.
Yeah.
There's not really a question there either.
No, you're good. And I couldn't agree more. And I have been so blessed. Like every time I give, and I know you guys have read the book, The Go Giver, like you have to, part of that is you have to be open to receiving. Right. And that means, when somebody's telling you like, hey, knucklehead, look at this instead of that, or think about this. I think you're missing something. You have a blind spot. Like that's given back to you. And I've had so many people like you two do that for me. And it just always comes back, and you don't do it for that reason, but man, it's just the right way to do business.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Masterminds for a second. You were the first member of the War Room Mastermind, and
woo,
that's right, man. And
number one,
yeah. And so I guess first, what made you choose to join a mastermind to begin with? And two, like, how do you think that has impacted you with like your growth and success?
Oh, it's truly changed my life. Like it has changed my life on all kinds of levels, relationships, mindset. When I say relationship, I'm talking my wife and I's relationship is better because of it.
That's awesome.
Things like goal setting frameworks and, the conversations we have about family, inclusion of family, how important that is. And we're putting the right things in the forefront, right? To the point where like, my wife and I do a goal setting date every year, and she's totally in tune with what we're doing. We respect where each other's mindsets are at because they're different, obviously. And it's changed my life. It puts you in a circle of people that, are doing stuff you may never even have thought of. Like, oh my goodness, these guys are buying 100-unit apartments from the UK. What? Right. I mean, and we got guys doing that. Right. And then you just look in the mirror in the morning and you go like, get up and get moving. Like you gotta, all ships rise with the tide, I think is what you guys say in the Navy or something like that.
Something like that.
You don't want to be dragging the group down. So you just want to be a good contributing member. It really is immensely impactful because it puts you in a circle of people who share values, who are ambitious, right? A lot of guys who are entrepreneurs are oftentimes on an island. This is not the standard, the normalcy where people are like, oh man, I want to put 20 hours in today doing cool stuff. Like, no, it's, that maybe Netflix or video games or something else that people do, but nobody wants to grind like I think entrepreneurs are willing to grind. And it's not all about hours worked and working. It's about kind of values and where you commit your time and how you do it intentionally. And I think for a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we spend our time on the right things, our family and, our faith and our morning routines and our exercise and our work and our side hustle or whatever it might be, but we're intentional. And that's really the bottom line. Yeah. It's been huge, man. It's been huge.
Well, and there's something else though, that I want to hit on that I've noticed, you're not going to just become successful because you join a mastermind group. And I've seen, and I've actually probably been a victim of it myself, where you can join a mastermind group and you're only going to get out of it what you put into it. And I've seen people come and go in our mastermind group, the War Room. Some people are just like crushing it, and I've seen just like amazing trajectory of growth, because man, they're like putting in the effort. Like they're reaching out to people, they're talking to people, they're networking, they're offering help, like they're doing all this stuff. And then there's other people that like you never hear from, like you never see them, you never see them on calls, you never see anything posting, you never like talk to them. And they end up like fizzling out, and they decide to get out, and it wasn't working for them. Right.
Yeah.
And there's
Yep.
probably a little bit of that for us, David and I, like we've been in some masterminds where we probably haven't put as much effort into it as we probably should have. And we haven't gotten as much out of it as we probably could have. So, I think that's a huge significant part to it of with you. Like we've seen, like, dude, you've been incredibly intentional about like you're all in. Right. And I think that's a huge factor to that.
Yeah, maybe all into a fault on the things I do, right? Because I commit the time. But no, you're right. I think, masterminds, people see masterminds and they think it's a GNC shake, like it's going to give them muscles. Like, no, man, you got to put the work in. You got to put the work in.
Even those shakes, man, you don't PT, you're just going to get fat from all the calories.
Yeah, it could actually have detracting effects. It honestly, a lot of it's good timing too, right? My mind was right. I was fully committed. I wanted to win so bad, and I went into the war room, and it helped me so much that the next time I joined another mastermind, which was 7-figure flipping, like I knew the value I could get out of it if I put into it. Yeah. And that's what I tried to do.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Hey, so tell us, let's look forward now. What is how much time you have left in the Marine Corps? What's next? Like what's on the horizon?
Yeah. So I'm getting ready to move to, what's probably my last duty station. So I'll do a 3-year tour. I'm at about 17 years in now. And I'll retire at the end of that. And from a business perspective, last October, a couple things happened. One, you guys put on Veterans Live REI with Bill Allen, who also owns 7-figure flipping and that whole platform and all that stuff. So I went to Veterans Live REI last year. It was virtual because COVID, right? So the stars are aligning. COVID, I got time. I'll see this thing. I went to Flip Hacking Live 2020. Virtual COVID, so I had time to see that. And man, I was so inspired that I joined the 7-figure flipping mastermind group. And I had that conversation with David about, speed of the deal and helping people and helping sellers and all this stuff. And I was just so inspired that I went in there in October and literally just devoured the content within probably the first 3 to 4 weeks, try to teach myself everything in there, and took action in November and started marketing and doing it kind of on my own one-man show. I wanted to do some wholesaling and I failed pretty miserably. And I reset in January and did it again and I succeeded. But it took me probably 6 to 8 weeks, maybe longer, started getting deals and traction and the things were starting to come together. Started to build a team, which I was really passionate about, bringing a team together, having a culture, same values, those kind of things. And then I had an opportunity come up probably a month ago where Bill reached out to me and said, "Hey man, I think you're the guy to take over my real estate company in partnership with me." And I said, "Let me, man, I was put back, frankly." And the natural question is, hey, what kind of relationship do you guys got? Why would he pick you? And I honestly, I don't know. It's not like Bill and I we're on the phone every day. I couldn't tell you. We spoke a couple times. I was on his podcast, but I'm in his group. He's obviously monitoring what the people in his group are doing. And, hopefully my actions spoke for themselves, but we'd have to ask Bill why he chose me. And basically I became the CEO of Blackjack Real Estate overnight, what seems like. And we made it official probably a couple weeks ago. We'll have announcement on his podcast soon and on here. And yeah, I'm just trying to grow the team and grow the business and really just blow it up. I want to blow it up.
It's amazing. So what does that look like? You know, what does that running that business look like as an active duty Marine, and you know, as you transition for the next 3 years? Like, what's the time split? Because a lot of people, and why I'm interested in this is people don't believe that this can be done, and you're showing that it can be done.
Yeah. So the time split, right? So first off, like I'm one of the newest members. There's a whole team. I've got folks on salary. I've got folks that are 1099, and you know, some A players really that need me to lead them well. And so it's a lot of stuff. You got systems, you got processes, you got marketing. So I basically jumped in and looked at it. And what it looks like for me on a day-to-day basis is I'm up at 4 a.m. and I'm going through my morning routine. And by 4:30, 4:45, like I'm in the business. And I'm doing that for a couple hours at least every morning. And I'm popping out at lunch and I'm doing it. And then I'm coming home and I'm spending time with my family. And then I'm into the business until whatever it takes, really, to be honest. You know, I'd be lying to the viewers if I said, hey, no, it's super easy. You can totally just, you know, do this on the side whenever you feel like it. But that's not true. You have to be committed. And, you know, especially a guy like me, I'm not a Excel whiz and mathematician like Stu over here. So, you know, I really got to put the work in to make sure I understand what I'm looking at, make sure I'm leading the team well, and instilling the right culture in the team.
When you still have your Marine Corps gig, that I'm extremely confident that you give that 100% effort too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like, so here's the dichotomy I think people create. Like, I'll just kind of like do okay in the military. And then also just, that's not how I work. Anywhere I go, I want to be the guy. I want to dominate that space. And, that, you know, I try to do that in the Marine Corps every day. I've had some pretty good luck. I've had some good leaders, and I've been relatively successful in the Marine Corps, and I can, like, nothing changes. Nothing changes.
It's the same rule that you apply for your kids in sports, right?
Right. 100% effort.
100% effort all the time. It's awesome, man.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And you might hear that and think like, man, this guy doesn't know anything about balance. And it's funny because I have this conversation with my wife all the time, and we kind of reset on it. Like, balance is not this linear thing, right? Like, you guys know this. Balance is episodic at best, right? Like, sometimes I'm able to commit so much to my family, and that's where my focus is. And sometimes I'm like heavy in the business and in the Marine Corps, and it just kind of ebbs and flows. And, you know, I may be a little bit crazy, but I do, like, family's really important to me. And at times that's where most of my focus goes.
Yeah, I think balance is a myth. To be honest with you, I think a balanced life is a myth. I think the best you can do is be 100% present in what it is you're doing. So I think, you know, and it's important to me, like I wear these hats, right? So I go to work and I'm a CO. And when I'm a CO, I have to be 100% on for those sailors, because their lives suffer if I don't. Like, they don't promote, they don't get what they need from a resource perspective or whatever it may be. And I may have to go take them to mass, take them to meritorious mass, slap a coin. Like, all these different things require effort, commitment, presence. And then there's the podcast. If I'm sitting here like on my cell phone texting the XO and I'm trying to look at deals and I'm not focused on you, well, you know that. And you don't enjoy being a guest. Stu knows it. He's carrying the weight. Like, it's very distracting, right? If we're not raising money when we need to raise money, so I think it's these areas. And then as a dad, the thing that I'm most passionate about after my faith is being a dad and a husband. Dude, your kids know, man. They call us out all the time. Like, dude, why are you on your phone, Dad?
Dad, put your phone away.
because I'm a turd.
Yep.
I'll let me go put it away because I'm a turd.
Yeah.
And so there's these things that, you want to be there, man. I want to be the dad out there on the playground in the monkey bars, and other people's kids are like, I'm asking parents if, hey, I'm not a creep. Like, these are my kids. Like, we're playing tag. Are you good? But like being that dad, right? I want my kids to be like, my dad is that fun dad that's present and he wants to play with us and he's in it. And I want my wife to know that I love her and am dedicated to her. So I think you make a great point. Like, it's not easy. And if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? But the other side of that is there's no balance. You're 100% present for what it is you're doing, and hopefully you can shut the other stuff off.
Well, and there's got to be a purpose behind it all too, right? There's got to be a purpose behind it all. So I'm curious, like what are you doing all this for, Adam?
Yeah, I think I feel like I was put on this earth to be a good person, and be a good steward of my family and just help people where I can. And honestly, that's what drives me, right? It's not, it's funny because in our space, we talk a lot about financial freedom, time freedom. It's not freedom, right? Like I do have a boss, right? There's a higher being that I'm working for. And it's not financial freedom and time freedom I want. It's optionality that I want. I'm a grinder. Like, I'm a grinder. I'm going to grind. I just want to choose how that is, like, who am I grinding for? And like, what are those things that I'm doing? How do they align with my value? If I was out of the Marine Corps today, I'd still grind, it wouldn't be different. I would just choose like, at 9:37 a.m., my daughter grabbed my leg and wanted to put makeup on my face. So I allowed it,
Right.
Like, hey, sometimes that's the cost of being a dad. You got to do it.
That's it. Yeah.
Right. So
I'm actually bummed that my daughter stopped painting my toenails. Like, it bums me out. I'm like, Maya, are you sure you don't want to do the
listen, let me tell you something. I had a problem with that recently. My wife would go to Costco on Saturdays, and my daughter, we had this kind of thing we did. We set up a tent inside the house and she would paint my toenails. My wife says, hey, this is like washable paint. No big deal. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to do that. Well, like 6 weeks in a row, I got paint on my toenails, and I'm like in my office, like trying to hide my feet as I put my boots on and change. And I couldn't get it off my toenails. So I haven't done it in a while because I'm not interested in getting a chisel out to get it off my toes.
That's funny. I'm not going to lie. I used to take pride when we were in Sixth Fleet, especially when I'd work out in the morning. Admiral Davidson, who's now a 4-star admiral, he was a 3-star at the time, and he'd PT in the morning, and I'd be that guy, one of the only ones in the gym, and we'd be in the locker room. I'd be walking around with my flip-flops and my painted toenails. I'm like, hey, good morning, sir. How's it going? Like, I just to see the looks, and people are like, okay. Nobody ever says anything about it. They never say anything, but they're thinking. And then I'm always wearing flip-flops. We'd be outside and have the toenails painted, and man, I used to love it. I'm gonna have to go talk to her. I'm gonna go wake her up, be like, let's do the toenails tonight.
You're gonna do toenails.
Doing toenails.
That's good stuff.
That's great. Man. That's great. No, I think those are points that are really our listeners should really take to heart is and I think that mindset shift when you realize it's not about balance, it's about prioritization is really, really important. And there's also nothing better than when you prioritize somebody and they know they're a priority. When you're sitting with them and you're completely focused, you're completely there in the moment. And like I'm gonna ask a buddy to make a box for me. It's a cell phone box. Stu made me one, but I want one a little bit nicer.
What? That thing's awesome, man.
So that it's there, like it's prominent, and he's talking about putting a Bible verse on it. And I would love to be at a spot where I come home and the kids see and they know what's gonna happen, and the phone goes in there, and like daddy's just focused, and your husband is focused, and that's, I fail at that all the time, but it's a desire.
Yeah. I would just say one thing to that, right? it's not just that you're going to do that action and it's going to be really great and you're going to be focused on but you're putting the effort in. And I think that is where we can trip ourselves up sometime, looking at highlight reels of other people. And we're talking about this thing and, hey, we're not perfect. Like I not oftentimes, but I sometimes, like, I don't prioritize appropriately, but it's a big part of my life, right? Show me, I learned some strategies from Stu not too long ago, but show me your calendar and I'll show you your priorities type things. And you're just working every day to be a better man. And just know you're not going to always win. You're not going to always be successful. But the point is that's where you're going.
Good stuff, dude. I am by no means ever perfect. I get close sometimes, but
not even close, dude. Like all you have to do is look in the mirror to see. And Stu, and I'll give him credit again, right? Like he's fought an uphill battle his entire life. Like look at that face. Like nobody's gonna give him money, right? Nobody's gonna be like, oh, I want to marry you, right? But he's fought.
Hey, I have an amazing wife. I have an amazing wife who loves to be married to me.
But she didn't look at you and say, oh, that's the guy I want to marry. She was like,
oh. She did. It was just dark. It was really dark.
It was really dark.
Yeah.
She was drunk. Like, I don't know.
I mean, there's some truth to that statement. Actually, we met on New Year's Eve and it was at a party at night.
Perfect.
Yeah.
My wife didn't know. I met her like 4 times. She's like, so who are you again? I'm like, I'm literally the dude. Like we go to church together. Like I met you last week. She's like, oh, you weren't wearing a hat last week. I'm like, well, but I mean, okay, that happened 4 times. It's no joke. It really happened. So that's good stuff. I think that's important too, because the failure part of it is inevitable. We're gonna do it. Like I honestly, one of the reasons I was looking forward to this podcast too, because man, I felt like I failed in a lot of things this week. Like in all honesty, just like hit after hit, just failing. But at the end of the day, man, you brush yourself off, get up. It's not how many times you get knocked down, right? So I think these little cliches and these sayings they're true though. They're important because some people just stay down and then they're not going to achieve that whatever that goal is. And I read a quote today and I forget, you probably know who it is. But it said, if your goals are so huge and you fail, you're failing above other people's success because you're just, your desires, your wants, your goals are that much bigger.
I think that was either Tupac or Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It may have been both, like in a, just different genre. I don't know.
Definitely Tupac. Yeah.
No, that's great. So CEO, you're going to get out. Are you moving? Are you looking to do another move out to be more, centrally located Tennessee, Pensacola area, or what's that long term look like?
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing. Like the military, as they do, I thought I was going to go to Tampa, Florida, and I thought it would be a great transition for me, and I'd just kind of stay there and set up shop. That didn't turn out to be the case. I'm going to Virginia. So our plan is to kind of do some Southeast exploring and see what we love and pick the place. We're a bit of nomads. We're not really tied to much other than an active community, good weather, and great schools,
Nice. That's awesome, man. I love that.
Well, we are incredibly excited for you, man. And we're proud for you, proud of you. And we've just really been we've enjoyed being a part of you and really continue to look forward to being a part of you. And this is something that people should listen back to and reach out to Adam, because he is his mindset, his giving mentality, it's just amazing. And you're going to be a better person for getting to know Adam. So Adam, what is the best place for folks to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I think I made it my mission last year. I started a website, willtowininvestments.com, with really no agenda other than kind of just giving back. Like, hey, let me show what I'm doing to maybe inspire somebody else, if it's even inspiring to you. And then if you reach out to me on Instagram, Will to Win Investments, with underscores between that, I promise you I'll get back to you. I never will leave anybody hanging. It's my mission to help anybody I can.
That's good stuff.
It's awesome. Yeah, man. Hey, just to encourage you, I think that, I am watching your growth these last couple of years, completely motivating to me, challenges me, it humbles me to be a better man, to be a better human being, to, I love one of my favorite, I'm not a big social media guy, shocker. And I'm trying to get better, but one of my favorite things that I see that you post is when you and your wife do your goal setting dates, and that inspires me. I am, I just love that you guys are doing that together, and man, just keep it up. I'm just so ecstatic to see what that growth's going to be, where you're going to be the next, few years. I think is just going to be astronomically different than where you are now. And I'm just excited for you, and I'm excited for Bill and Blackjack. Honestly, I'm just so stoked that they got you, and it's no mystery to me what Bill saw in you, right? It's not surprising, and he's a man of action, so he's like, I got to get that guy, and he snatched you up before everybody else could. So good on him, super smart, but I think he made an amazing choice. So keep it up, man. It's great.
Are you still gonna wear Storehouse gear once you're like fully in Blackjack? Don't forget about Storehouse. Don't forget about Storehouse.
No, I'm gonna always represent Storehouse with this hat. One, I love this hat; it's a great hat.
Good hat.
And I love what you guys stand for, and I love. I'm just so grateful for our relationship, and I will always represent the brand because the brand is based on the same values that I hold dear to my heart. So I appreciate you guys.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you, man. It's great spending this time with you. And guys and gals, reach out to Adam, hit him up on Instagram. I know he's a big Instagrammer, so hit him up there. Hey, share this with somebody. Take a screenshot of this episode, share it on Instagram, tag Will to Win Investments, tag us at Storehouse. Yeah, I think you'll be better for it afterwards.
Why don't we all smile real quick so that they have a taggable like thing?
Oh, should I just do a sprint screen?
Perfect. That was beautiful.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was
all right.
great.
Go fill your Storehouse.
And friends, make it a great day. Thank you for listening.
Adam, see you, buddy.